the Adam thing.
I told her about
Him,
the Adam.
his other
Yeah.
more formal entanglement.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's one. I don't fuck that guy's song.
That's his third marriage, right? So I'm sure it's going to be just great.
Yeah. He chickened out of being
Okay, we're live on YouTube, just to let you know, and going live to Facebook.
Out of being what?
pegged.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like with a strap on.
Yeah.
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 All right, we might.
You didn't hear me say going live, right?
Yeah,
You don't look like
I heard you.
Okay.
Going live.
Just making sure. Unless the show's going a new direction, I wasn't sure.
No, don't go live yet. I mean, I said what I said.
Okay. Well, I was going to say.
And I said what I said.
Yes, okay. We're all on record now.
Like I just you looked at me like you did not know what pegging meant.
Stop.
Did you see that? Did I show you guys the video of this person who's like really into Peggy Flanagan and like he's
And then transitions to Peggy Flynn.
but the way he starts it is like, America, get ready to get pegged.
Oh no.
And it's like, I'm not sure
Does
that's
he
our
know?
best.
Yeah.
It was he totally. I'm
totally
sure he
knows.
totally knew. That was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I listened to the Peggy group, and I'm like, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not saying it. Just saying it's out there.
Just
We
saying
might
it's
not
out
be
there.
able to control it.
Right. Sometimes organic content is just. That's just
Do you
what
guys
get.
need to get out earlier, or like?
I just have to beat Donna. How do you say it?
Holy shit.
The
Yeah, it's not that far.
And we're going live to Facebook right now. So if anyone wants to share or pantomime sharing.
no,
I put it on my Twitter and the YouTube. I put on my Twitter and the WAE Twitter.
You're the best in the class, Brian.
I am.
Because hold on, I'm gonna go do it right now.
Shut up.
You shut up.
Let's see. Hey, everybody. We will be starting the show here very shortly. As always, we'd love for you to comment below the video, and we'll put your comments on screen so you can get at us during the live. And maybe they'll respond.
Who's he talking to?
He's talking
The
to
audience, we're
He's
live.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and disregard any pegging conversation that you heard earlier. It'll be cut, yeah.
It's not gonna be cut.
And as soon as you guys are ready, I'll start the commercial.
Say it during the program.
I believe you.
Someone's so saucy today.
Yeah. Have you read the news this week? I'm saucy.
Yes, I've noticed. I've been following you.
We're gonna give you your time.
Do you guys want me to start the commercial now, or wait?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Please.
Please.
Wow.
Support for Wrong About Everything comes from Minnesota's credit unions. Credit unions are locally based, member-owned financial cooperatives that return earnings to members through higher savings rates, lower loan rates, and reduced fees. Visit mncun.org for more information.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Wrong About Everything podcast. I am conservative strategist and wish that Amy would get her trash away from my Emmy Award, Brian McDaniel.
And I am former Republican Senate Majority Leader, pushing her trash closer to an Emmy Award, Amy Koch.
And I am Democratic strategist in the Puerto Rican heat who's feeling particularly hot this week, Javier Morillo.
And we are
Wrong
about everything. Is it caliente?
Caliente.
It's freaking sizzling, yes.
As the jacket would indicate. People that are watching should tune in. I'll move it. Sorry about the Emmy.
Let's get the Emmy talk out of the way. There's a statuette here.
Yes.
It's a real live Emmy.
It's a real live Emmy.
It's heavier than you'd think.
You didn't see it last week because we were off. Because we had an emergency. We apologize for that.
I would like to thank everybody who assumed that I had another heart attack. But no,
honestly,
no.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean,
Fair.
Yeah. I should be the leader out of the clubhouse, or leader into the clubhouse for sure. But no, it was not me. It was with our producer Gabe's family, and we're very much hoping that things stay on the good side there. We are in the Minnesota Credit Union Network studios, deep within the recesses of MBC Studios here in Northeast Minneapolis. It's Brian and Amy and Javier today. I get so many comments every show day about a fourth person. We have to talk about that.
Yeah, no,
sometime.
I know. I got someone messaged me privately saying you need another Democrat to go up against these assholes.
Yeah.
No, they didn't say that.
They didn't say the assholes part.
The sweet
that was
potatoes.
me.
That was implied.
Those two sweet potatoes.
They didn't say that either.
That was implied, yeah.
It was right in the middle. Right in the middle.
Yeah.
It was a
other
neutral
two
observation
people.
that they disagree with you.
Right down the.
Well, if anyone would like to be on the show, they probably
That's
should.
true.
They should probably listen to
Contact me.
They should listen to all of our stuff, which they can find at our website at www.wrongbouteverything-podcast.com. And we're really pushing the YouTube. So we're posting everything up there. Gabe spends a lot of time. Gabe, our wonderful producer, spends a lot of time making clips, and those are on the YouTube as well. So please check it out. We need a lot more subscribers there. Also, if you're feeling particularly stabby because of something that somebody said about your homeland, you can contact our good friends at Bradshaw and Bryant. Their entire team.
I'm not going to murder anyone.
Well,
Not literally.
that's
No,
that-
verbally though.
That's
Oh.
that's totally
This
off
is
the table.
really driving you.
I don't like that.
We're
But
talking
yet-
about a McDonald's cup.
and yet-
but you have your own trash right in front of it.
one. Mine is full of liquid and has a cap on it. Hers is
Oh, he's
finished.
nervous.
I'm not
He's nervous.
It's just bothering me.
You
Like
think that milkshake is gonna spill?
Well, it brought all the boys to the yard.
Yeah,
It
it's gonna,
did.
it's gonna spill
Damn
on
right.
the Emmy.
It's okay. I have Emmy cleaner in the bag. Their entire team of attorneys and staff is dedicated to providing the legal service you need, combined with the service and personal attention you deserve. If you have questions about how they can assist you with a personal injury, wrongful death, or criminal defense matter, do not hesitate to contact them. Consultations are free. Please contact them at 800-770-7008 or at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Now, before we get into the weighty issues of the week, we are starting to get booked by fantastic organizations who want us to do post-election
I love it.
pontificating.
They've got some fun ideas too.
And they got some good ideas, so we're starting to get full up there. So if your organization or business or family or whatever wants to,
Are we going to do families?
if you know,
I guess.
yeah.
Like bar mitzvahs.
Do they have a nice basement? If they have a nice basement, then maybe. But yeah, we love talking. We love talking about whatever the hell is going to happen next week. So reach out to us because we like doing it. I think we're kind of funny at it. We're kind of good at it. We know what we're talking about. And no matter what happens, it's going to be super interesting. So start getting us on your calendar. We would love to do that because the only thing that I like doing more than talking about elections is recalling that we're one day away
From what?
from that one time in 1991
Oh, for fuck's sake.
when we were all dressed up in our
Going to be okay tomorrow, though,
All right.
apparently.
well, but they said it might snow.
Oh.
It might snow.
Oh
It might
my.
snow.
Well,
but
yeah.
man, you remember how much snow that was?
It was
1991.
so much. So the thing is that I wish Javier could have been here to see it.
Yeah,
It was.
He doesn't appreciate
We
it.
were
like I was
snowmobiling
there.
around. We were trapped for 3 days. I was trapped at my sister-in-law's house.
And I was in the
Sister-in-law
dorms
to
at
be.
Mankato State.
How old were you?
University.
I guess I was 18 or 19. How
Yeah,
old were
I would
we?
have been a freshman, so you would have been
Yeah.
one more than that.
Okay. Great. So 19.
19.
Oh wow! I thought you guys were I thought you guys were younger, but I forget you.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we're younger than you.
We weren't
So you
trick or
had,
treating.
you had something to do,
Yes.
I went to a party.
you were-
I went to a party.
and I went
and you
back-
got stuck for 3 days.
And we got
Well,
stuck for 3 days.
But then I went back to the dorms, and then we lost power. They couldn't get food to us. Though Domino's seemed to be able to find us if you
Well,
were
there's-
willing to wait long enough.
No, I got caught at the party. It was my sister. She was going to marry my husband, my brother, and so anyway, we were stuck for 3 days at her house. We could drive around in a snowmobile.
It's fascinating.
Then you weren't really trapped.
Well, but we weren't getting anywhere.
But you know what? Kids today, they don't understand what that was all like. That was
And they
it
never
was-
will.
It was so epic.
Did you see last winter? There was like no snow.
I think it's supposed to be snowier this year.
The Farmer's
Of course,
Almanac say that?
of course, they also said that it was supposed to be like a very dry summer, and we ended up being
Yeah.
Very wet summer. It's a very dry fall.
yes.
Yeah, I had to actually water my lawn.
Oh,
Yeah. It's as watching my grass grow as interesting as your snow stories.
I feel like Minnesotans understand
because
when
you know
we say blizzard.
the book and the
get pretty
wow.
excited.
Wow. Yeah, no,
They
this is
immediately
this
turn
is
to their friends and family and start telling where they were.
This is absolutely the week that you should tell a Puerto Rican or anyone else, like, America, love it or leave it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say
Minnesota, love it or leave it.
that. No, I said that they love our
Minnesota.
story.
If you're a Minnesotan, you'd get it, Javier.
Oh, okay. Well, then you were. Listen,
I'm
you're
not a
super
Minnesotan. I
saucy
get
and
it.
sensitive because that's
You
what
grew
I
up
was
here.
saying.
Shut up.
Kind of.
Yeah, geez. Please. You cling to Chicago, but you left when you were young.
Yeah.
How old are you?
It's almost 12.
You're a Minnesotan.
Yeah, I've been here way longer.
I'm going to go
than I
back
was
and watch
there.
the grass grow. Do you have a feed, Javier, at your house?
Like a live stream.
A live
Yes, I
stream.
do.
Thank you. I'm gonna
But
bring-
all right. Javier.
Wait. Should we talk about that damn thing? The trophy?
Oh, the Emmy. Well,
What?
I mean, we've talked about the Emmy Award. We just haven't been able to showcase it on our show because we weren't on.
He's petting it.
We weren't on there last year, but no, we had Shaletta Brundage on our show. Probably 3 weeks ago now, and since that happened, she and I were. You can touch it.
It's pointy.
Yeah, it's pointy. It's heavy. It's heavier than you think.
Yeah, it is heavier than you think.
But anyway, on October 19th, we were down at the Mystic Lake Event Center where we got actually awarded.
That's where they do the Emmys?
That's where
the
they do-
casino?
Well, it's not. It's a separate building. I'd actually never been in the building before. But yeah, so no, we had a really good time, and we got to say our names on stage and do a little performance and all that, which was
Did you get to do a thanks and then you got played off?
No.
No? Okay.
So because there's a fair amount of us that were up there, and I got to go first because they got to put the white guy first, evidently. So they you go up, you go Brian McDaniel, producer, and then everyone else does it, and then Shaletta came on, and she was kind of dressed.
That's your title for that thing?
He got it for being a producer.
according to the Emmy. It is.
I know it gets worse, doesn't it? It
It's so much worse. I'm so mad at Charlotta. Like, why is she doing this?
She recognizes my talent.
Yeah, she
and how
dedicates
important
her life to uplift the work of women of color and people of color generally, and then you
and Brian.
and Brian. Okay, I never understand these choices.
What you're saying tracks.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. You're looking at me like I have an
It's
explanation.
Like Charlotta, I can introduce you to other white people. I know a
She doesn't
few.
need another one. She's got one.
I got some nice. Hey, I'm married to a nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in any event, so then Shaletta came out dressed like she's in Run DMC, and then
what?
Yeah, and then she would yell, "Whose house?" And we'd have to yell, "Shaletta's house." That's 100% true. I was
Just
so
like she was in Run
uncomfortable.
DMC for
Yeah.
the Emmys.
Well, because we got our own thing. Most people didn't even get to go up there and say, I want to thank my wife and our Lord and Savior. They didn't get to do any of that. And then we all got to say our name, what we did, and then Shaletta had a video before that, and then we all got to talk. So it was kind of the Shaletta Awards, is what they were. So I want to thank her very much for a lovely evening. We had a good time. Got to see a lot of our friends. Jana Shortle, she won. And
She did win. What did she win for? Something real.
She might have won Best Anchor.
Our friend,
not a producer.
Our friend,
Yes.
our friend Jenna.
I've been on her show.
Amy.
Yes, you are closer to her than I am. For
Amy, and yes, she likes us.
Yes.
We have been on her show very recently.
sure.
in
Just
fact.
like Shaletta, you guys just brought me along, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. So if there's anything that you would like to bring
John
me along,
Stiles was like, and he was like, he wasn't keeping up. He's like, Brian got an Emmy? I'm like, yeah.
Like recently,
He's like,
he just
for
asked.
what?
A producer. Tell him. Producer.
I am
For Black Entrepreneurs Day.
Black Entrepreneurs Day. I am an award-winning ally to the African American community, and
Yeah,
no
I
one
guess
can
so.
take that away from me. I don't think.
Oh, it's very exciting.
Yeah. we're all-
Yoink.
Exciting for you. All right, let's get to politics.
All right. Well, Javier.
Yeah.
sometimes, I know what our run sheet's going to be like without even doing it. And so Tony Hinchcliffe, who is a very well-known attorney, a very well-known comedian, he is.
Is he? Because it's interesting because I really like roast comedy, but I guess he has a specific roast show.
So he has a show called Kill
Yeah.
Tony,
Yep.
and he's also on all. He's on the Comedy Central roasts now.
Really? Because I watch all those.
Well, the newer ones.
Yeah,
but he was on
Which
the
one?
Tom Brady one.
Was he on the Tom Brady
Yeah,
one?
he was
okay,
on-
then
He might have been
forgettable.
he might have been the closer on it, or
I don't know
very
if he
close
was
to
the
the
closer,
end.
but-
But Tony Hinchcliffe is somebody who kind of like in the Joe Rogan part of
Right, the bro.
I think that's fair to say.
bro-
And his show,
broadcast
I mean, his show it goes after everybody. His show does. His show goes after everybody. So anyone who's familiar with Tony Hinchcliffe is 0% surprised at what he said about Puerto Rico, about African Americans, about any of that. I think maybe what is surprising is that he was on the stage
That he was
all
invited
do
to
it.
a
Yeah,
political.
well, yeah. So first of all, but also this political gathering was much more. What was that? I was thinking about there was a show that used to play in the 70s and 80s.
The Dean Martin roasts.
Well, no, not the
Oh.
roast, but like they'd have a bunch of stars on, and they would do like athletic things. It was like
Battle
battle
of the Stars?
Battle of the Network Stars, where it was sort of like has-beens and wannabes that would get in there and like mix it up in a sort of strange. That's what this one felt like to me. Like it was a really mix of like because Hulk Hogan was there, right?
It was the closing argument of a political campaign, and yes, it was all those things. I mean, like I'll say, so this election, which has been, of course, very freaking stressful, and I spend my day like working on to defeat Donald Trump, and I had this sort of like that in the back of my head. It was like, universe, I need a sign that like things are going to be okay for me. Things are going to be okay for our
Oh
side.
no, the universe
No, it's fine.
sent you that.
And then the universe was like, how about I make Puerto Ricans the center of the political conversation for the last week of the election? I was like, thank you.
Oh.
No, it was like listen, the thing is, within minutes of this happening, Bad Bunny, who had been silent about the U.S. elections because he was focused on elections in Puerto Rico, where his support in Puerto Rico may very well put a third-party candidate, and in Puerto Rico the parties are not aligned with
Right, they're different. They're not
different
Republican,
parties. It's not-
Democrat,
It's the statehood party, the Commonwealth Party, and the Independence Party. But the Independence Party, there is a coalition with the Independence Party and this a party called Movimiento Ciudadano, which Movimiento Victoria Ciudadana, and they formed a coalition called La Alianza. And so the Alianza is running a candidate, Juan Dalmau, who may very well beat the statehood candidate, and she is a Trumper. But like Puerto Ricans are obviously overwhelmingly anti-Trump, even before this week. Just as a sign of how the parties don't line up, right? That like she can survive politically in Puerto Rico despite having been associated with Trump, although now she's much more on the defensive than because of this last week. But within minutes, Bad Bunny like endorsed Kamala Harris, and when I tell you that my group chats were on fire,
Yeah.
when I tell you the level, and it's not just Puerto Ricans. To be clear, it's like Latinos reaching out to Puerto Ricans, and it is the news every day in Puerto Rico. There are calls from people on the island calling their family in the U.S. Most of it organic, and I spent my week making sure that those things happened as well, and making sure we resource ways these conversations with phone banks and things like that. But no, so it was horrific. It was, I mean, I honestly like the, because I don't, look, I hang out with you guys. I'm not easily offended.
Yeah, and I also think that you understand that there's a difference between like someone saying something and a comedian saying
Well, if I was at a roast,
yes,
and someone
yes.
made that joke,
yeah,
I'd
you'd be like,
yeah.
man. I mean, first of all, it wasn't it wasn't funny. Like that was my.
But,
Well,
and
I'll
at
get
a
to that in a second.
political
Yeah.
event,
Yeah.
at a political event for a man who held back funding for Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, who threw towels at my people, who said horrible things about Puerto Ricans in the aftermath of that, and a hurricane that we are still recovering from. That, like the island being a pile of garbage, like actually hurt. Actually, like that is the thing that, like, because and here's the thing: if you have never been to Puerto Rico is fucking beautiful. It is a gorgeous island. It is a
Afterwards,
beautiful
Tony
place to-
Hinchcliffe even said that.
Yeah,
which-
he says I visit there. I'm like, not anymore, buddy. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
Hope you have a good disguise. The thing is, it like triggered for a lot of people. Like Nicky Jam, who was the reggaetonero who I think I talked about in the Spanker thing some time ago, who endorsed Trump, and then when Trump was on stage to welcome up, I think he thought Nicky Jam was Nicki Minaj, because he says she's really beautiful. Here she is, Nicky Jam, and Nicky Jam comes up and he's like, like, and he was like, and so his social media he'd already been mocked forever. He today withdrew his endorsement of Trump. It is now. This person, Eric Flores, commenting from the, hey, Eric.
Do you know?
I literally lived across the street from him in Puerto Rico.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, he already go to state for college, but he lived across the street from his mom. But I've known him since I was a kid. Eric Flores, he lives in Ohio, I believe.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Eric. It's so good to see you.
That's nice.
I know, so sweet. No.
Herrick, have you seen my Emmy?
Settle down.
Bringing it back.
Yeah.
What's important?
No, but like it really mobilized people in a really like in the gut way, and that I think makes it a lot more culturally unacceptable. Like there are fewer permission structures for Puerto Ricans than I think other Latinos to vote for Trump this time around. So here we are. But wow, it was, and again, you all should visit Puerto Rico. We need the tourism dollars. Don't buy property, please. You're really like gentrifying and making it hard for Puerto Ricans to live there. But do visit.
Well, I mean, anyone who knows Tony Hinchcliffe, this is what he does. But at a political event, I mean, if he would have said England, it would have got as big of a pop without offending anyone who could actually vote here. If he would have said New Zealand, it would have gotten just as much of a pop. So, I mean, obviously,
the humor of it depended on the racism. I actually don't think he could have said either of those islands, because it wouldn't have triggered something like that is the connection. And so I just like, because that's why there was the response where everyone's like, it's a joke, and like, we get it's a joke, it's a racist joke. So,
well, I think what he said about African Americans was actually worse.
I mean, it was all equally. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was also horrible as the stuff that he and others said about Muslim people. Like the damage control that the Trump campaign is doing right now, like in all kinds of communities, is unbelievable. But it's also like, is anyone surprised? I mean, it's funny that this like broke through. The hate rally, because like, and I think that they felt free to do it because Trump himself gets away with stuff like that on the daily. He just does. So yeah, it's just what the party's become. Oof.
It wasn't smart.
Yeah.
Wasn't helpful.
Joe Biden weighed in on it.
Oh, yeah.
Also wasn't helpful.
Yeah, so Joe Biden, then, being a doorknob too, said all Trump's people are garbage, and so Harris has had to backtrack from that. That hasn't quite gotten as much play as
because it's.
I'm not saying it should. I'm not
right,
saying it should.
right.
I'm just saying that.
I mean, he's an
I'm
old
saying
man.
they're not.
Right.
I'm saying they're not
they're
equal.
They're right, and like. whatever. I mean, the thing is so. I mean, they're trying really hard. Tom Hauser is doing his best today to show as much outrage as Puerto Ricans are feeling about the comments.
Well, I understand, and I do. Here's what he is an old man. He's also the president of the United States.
He's
So,
right, and he
this is
misspoke.
a
He
comedian
misspoke,
versus-
and he explained
Yes.
what, and it was clear.
Yeah.
Like if you look at it, like it was clear he's referring to the supporter, the guy who actually said the thing. And even if you extend it to the people in Madison Square Garden, like you have to admit those were not your best people.
So I'm not going to, we've had this discussion. I'm not going to lump every single person in there as not the best people. I think the joke was dumb. I thought it was gross.
Which of the
I thought it
speakers do you
was-
think was good?
Well, I didn't watch all the speakers, Javier. 'cause
I
I'm not gonna
suggest
watch
you
it.
do.
I've been
suggest
to
you do.
4 or 5 Trump rallies. I'm good. I'm full up. On
Are
Trump
they always that racist?
No.
Okay, and that's why I'm suggesting you watch the hate rally because that represents your party today, and it would be good for you to be informed of like the kinds of things that people associate with the Republican Party.
That people that associate with I'm not gonna get into. a
He's
fight
your
about-
presidential candidate.
And I
How is not
understand that.
like you don't
And
think that it's
and
fair
also,
to associate his
you
rally
always- you wanna
with the
hang
Republican Party?
everything about everything on the Republicans around. I'm just not going to argue about it.
Yeah, you
Around
don't want
me,
to.
around the people.
I want to hang everything about the Republican Party on the presidential candidate. Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
No,
yeah,
no,
I do.
On you want to make me answer for all of it, and I refuse to
I'm
answer
not
for all of it, or have like the people that I know.
I'm
that either
actually
may or may not
asking
be
that
of
you
the
just be
Republican
informed
Party.
of how racist your party has become. That's all. I think it'd be a good thing to be
We
good
have,
citizens in the country.
As we speak very freely about our thoughts about Donald Trump, and I've never voted for him. On this show, we have a duty to somewhat talk about these things, which bringing them up is not an endorsement of it. And there are people that I think were surprised are full-throated Trump supporters, and people who were surprised speak out against him. I get, if I were sitting in your spot, that's exactly what I would say and exactly what I would think. But also, we're just in the unenviable position of, for this show, if we're sitting at the bar, we probably don't say some of these things. But for this show, I think people want both sides of an issue to a point, and to a point, we have to do that, and we are doing that. And but I get your point, but I also think Amy isn't in denial about what Donald Trump's campaign
Right,
is.
and I'm just saying. All I'm saying
Never.
is
And it's
like what
not
Amy
great
reacted to
when
was
you
me
hang
saying
everyone,
that is today's Republican Party. He's the presidential candidate, and if you don't think that is today's Republican Party, the least you can do is be informed of what's happening.
I'm really informed, Javier. And
Really, you
suggest
refuse
that
to
I'm
watch- you refuse to watch
I don't
it.
need to watch the rally.
right,
I
no,
can
okay.
watch the clips. Did you watch the entire rally?
Huh?
Did you? Did you? I listened to him on Joe Rogan for 3 hours. Did you listen to that?
Did you listen to all of the racists who were on stage that day?
Did you listen
I
to the
did.
rally?
I
did you
did.
listen to the entire rally?
I listened to
Javier,
I
did you
listened
listen
to
the entire
everything before Trump.
rally? Okay. But they were all racist.
Oh, you've clearly not watched it.
I will. That's
I
fine.
suggest you do it.
Okay, that's fine. I will, Javier.
They were all out. They're
But
all
to-
racist and outrageous in a million different ways. One of them called Kamala Harris the Antichrist. Tucker Carlson made fun of her race. Another one called Hillary a son of a bitch, which was weird.
Gender is
no,
fluid.
it's just what's it?
Gender's fluid.
Yeah, it's weird. No, but it was a hate rally, and it was the president, the person running under your party's name. Like that's just true.
Dean Phillips jumped out of his foxhole today. Not today, but this
If
week.
only he'd been in a foxhole.
So Dean Phillips was criticizing the Harris campaign. And, one thing, and this will tie it in to Phillips stuff better. So they're doing obviously they're doing all the polling. We all know, on this show we've talked dozens and dozens and dozens of times about you can make a poll say anything you want. So none of us are saying this poll's right, this poll's wrong. There were a series of polls that came out either late last week or early this week that showed in Minnesota the Harris lead had shrunk to 3 or 4. KSTP had a poll more recently that had it around 8. So Minnesota has not voted for a Republican candidate since Nixon, right? Before pre-Watergate. So no one's going to be surprised if Harris and Walz, win Minnesota. I think if the number turns out to be 3 or 4, or frankly even 5, I think that would be considered an underperformance based on what happened with Biden. And we all know, we know the Electoral College, and that Minnesota doesn't matter the way that Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin and Georgia and Nevada and Arizona. We all know that those are the real battleground states, but it matters a lot for what happens with balance and control of the Minnesota House. So we're in the final throes right now, and what happens, whether you want to ignore the federal stuff or not, it matters what happens on the federal level, especially with Tim Walz on the ballot. It matters a ton because Governor Walz would then become Vice President Walz, and then that triggers a whole lot of things here in the state. So it's going to be super interesting to see if more polling comes out. I think that was the last KSDP poll before the election. But
the average is like 4 or 5 points in Minnesota. And I don't look at a single poll. I always go for the averages because somewhere in between there is a closer story. Although traditionally, Donald Trump underpolls. The last week of the election in 2020 had Biden at like 51.2% and Trump at around 40 something, and he ended up getting about 45. So it was about 4.5 bump versus Biden was at 51.3. Yeah. So I think that there's just a segment of people that do not admit they're voting Trump, even to a pollster in an anonymous way, and so he traditionally underpolls. Now, I don't think Donald Trump's going to win Minnesota. No. He came within 1 point in 2016. However, and when he came into town once, so it could be closer than, I think Biden got him by 8 points in Minnesota, 7 or 8 points. And so I think it could be closer than that. But also Donald Trump originally, remember, was going to spend some resources here and then pretty much pulled out of the state of Minnesota when Vice President Harris got in and then Tim Walz got in.
Right.
And obviously, rightfully, their team said, we're not spending money in Minnesota.
Right. No, yeah. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what are the comparison with like what actually happens and polls. I think one of the things that I've been pointing out to Democrats, that in terms of the national polls, like there has been and polling average, there is a flood of Republican partisan polls and they're nowhere near as many Democratic partisan polls. So the polling averages like actually use all they're public polls, but they are Republican. They're Republican operations, and so like it is anyone's guess. I think I've been telling people on our side over and over like this. The only thing to learn from the polls is you've already learned it, which is that it's going to be extremely close. So go out and do everything you need to do because there's literally nothing. That's the only takeaway you can have from it.
You can take trends, and you definitely saw Trump climbing, and then you saw him fall off as Vice President Harris got on the race and climbed, and now they've evened out. I mean, in almost all of the battleground states, it's less than a percentage point dividing them. I think the only exception or two is like Georgia and maybe Nevada or Arizona, one of those two. But otherwise, in the rest of the battleground states, it is and the averages is like 0.3, 0.2%, 0.4%. It's dead heat.
Because what matters is if you see a poll talking about like the country, don't waste your time. It doesn't matter. Yep. But what's interesting is that a friend of the program told me that their sister lives in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and it was interesting, kind of getting the perspective, albeit secondhand, but the perspective of somebody who's not only in a battleground state, but in one of the most contested counties in that state. And I talk to Democrats and Republicans every day, and anyone who tells you that they know what's going to happen, they're selling you something, because the people who know what's going to happen, or at least the people who have the most information about what's going to happen, don't know. And that extends to Trump-Harris, and that extends to the Minnesota House race.
Yeah. Have you guys traveled to any battleground states recently?
Let's see. I've been trying to think of where I've been.
Like really?
Is Iowa a battleground state?
No.
No, then no.
It's
Wisconsin, but that, you know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Wisconsin would count.
Yeah.
Like watching TV
Oh my
in
God.
silence
Honestly.
on
Honestly.
like at bars. I don't know how the hell this is why this election. This is why, you know, like the mainstream media was really pissed that Kamala went on call her daddy and of course they're not mad at Trump for doing the exact same strategy of like talking to podcasts and finding every last way to like reach people, like unique ways to reach people, because I just have to imagine what I've heard from people in swing states. It's like that's literally all you hear.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not like it's like there's an ad for Trump, then one for Kamala, then one for Trump, then one for Kamala, and it's just back and forth.
And that's just
like,
the TV.
It's just hard
Imagine
to,
what's going up on digital, what's
right.
happening
It's just
in their mailboxes.
bananas, yeah.
It's just
I haven't been to Las Vegas in this election, but I've been in Las Vegas during other elections. And if you go to the sports book, you know, they'll have 30 big TVs or however many, you know, whatever. They have, you know, dozens of TVs that are showing the different games from all the different areas all at the same time. So not only do you have to watch the national things, but you see all of the ads for the local candidates and the congressional ones and the state ones, and what you see is, one, it's oppressive. Nobody could possibly pay attention to it. But you also see that the ads in Washington State are the same as the ads in Florida, as the same are the ads in Texas and Minnesota and Wisconsin and New Mexico. The only thing that's different are the names of the people that so and so's good and so and so's bad. They're all the same, because the people who are making the money on these things are the ad guys, and that's the job we should.
I work with an operation that does call them white label ads. But this is not a high dollar operation, because this goes to grassroots groups, and like basically you could, if you like the ad, you can take it and put your group's logo on it. And so it's offered for free to people, so people aren't becoming millionaires off it. But it's also, so I've seen all these ads that are played like all across the country, but with different groups associated with it. I think there's a thing that happens there, but except when it comes to political consultants, every time they use the same ad for a different person, they charge each congressional campaign $100,000.
Yes, they charge to make it. Never mind, they're also making back. They make the media buy.
Right.
And the media buy is where a lot of the money is, because you get the back end. You get the 20% or the whatever. You cut the deal. And no, it's a
racket.
It's a racket, which allows them every 2 years they get to do it, because the rest of the time they just get new clients.
It's wild.
And you can tell that Harris and the Democrats are winning the money game, because I'm just seeing and hearing. But what I'm most surprised at is that I listen, I have satellite radio in my car, and I listen to the sports channels more than anything else, and it is Harris, even on these sports channels, which would not traditionally be the place where they would go. But
here's the thing, I think, with that. Because the vice president got in so late to this, and then had this huge bump in fundraising, he raised by September $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Okay, think about what do you buy with $1 billion in 2 months? That is so much money to spend. So you might as well blanket literally everything, because why are you going to leave any money in the bank?
They're literally, so you have the ability today.
It's actually almost too short to spend $1 billion.
But you have the ability, and with today's technology, to match your voter file to your digital ad campaigns, so that you can say, I want Amy Koch to see this ad. So that when Amy Koch opens her favorite website,
she gets it.
this particular ad pops up,
Yeah.
which is so they're like ads that are targeted at suburban white women,
Yep.
like on abortion pop up to like, and they are literally tied. It's not just your it's not like we used to talk about zip codes, whatever.
It's
not. It is literally two individuals.
And I get it, but I've literally run some campaigns where I'm like, okay, well, can we do some more in digital? We have some more money. We'd like to do digital because digital is targeted.
Right.
It's direct to the person and it's less expensive.
Right.
And I've had people say to me, look, you really can't buy, like there's a limit on the amount of digital even you can buy.
Right.
So I just think that when I heard $1 billion, I was like, that's amazing. But also, how are they going to spend it?
That's why they sent a bunch of money to 50 states for party building and down ballot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just $1 billion would be a huge amount for a campaign, and one in 2 months is just you know.
Yeah.
So that's all.
It's wild.
It's wild.
But you wanted to talk about. Did you want to talk about Dean Phillips?
Well, no, just Dean Phillips. Dean Phillips, has criticized how he's supporting Harris, but he criticized the Harris campaign, and not knowing how this is going to happen. If she loses, I think it's going to be not because she didn't run against Donald Trump, which she obviously did and has, but she hasn't really run against Joe Biden. And I think that is the message that has been missing. We get it that they're going after Trump's character. We get it that they're hammering on abortion, but she really hasn't made the case of.
She was asked on The View, like, how do you differ from Biden? And she didn't have an answer. She kind of paused and stayed, like, just seemed surprised by the question. And to me, that's just like.
Right. And
number one question they should prep her on every single time.
I think that is true. I agree with you that she should have had a better answer, and now she has a better answer.
Right.
That she's been.
That would have been like the first question I would have said. Okay, here's what you're going to get. Here's number one.
But this is like, is that what Dean Phillips has been saying? Because here's the problem with it. Like, I just think about.
I don't know if that's what Dean said specifically.
It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right. Like, there's only so much she can distance herself from this administration. Her polling. And all public polling shows that she has the mantle of the change candidate. So reminding people that she's tied to Joe Biden it's a double-edged sword for her. So talking about the future is the thing is the right thing to do. Dean Phillips, if you're wondering how good he is at running campaigns, look at his own campaign. Look at the campaign he ran to replace Joe Biden. It was worse than bad. There were criminal indictments.
Well, I mean, I think he helped you. If Harris wins, he helped.
No, I will give you
and he
that.
Was not
and
wrong
he's also
about we should have had a primary.
Well, he was
Joe Biden.
Actually, he was completely wrong about that. This actually happened the best possible way for Democrats, because we would have had a bloody primary that that would have centered around people like attacking the vice president, who would be seen as the front runner, and so at the end of that, Kamala Harris would have been bloodied, but still, black women are the foundation of the Democratic Party. It would have been incredibly difficult for anyone else to beat her at this moment.
Yeah,
but
she would have won.
But she would have
Probably, likely.
Right, but
likely
she would have been bloodied. This happened in exactly in the perfect way for it to happen. It's interesting. I think I was listening to someone told this story. Who was it? I think it was Gerald Ford was asked by a little girl.
I know, how's a woman going to get into the president?
And he was like, someday there will be a president who picks a woman vice president, and that president will die.
Yeah, no, that's what he said. He said, then that didn't happen. And by the way, I hate if that's how we get the first woman president of the United States. Of course,
no.
I do not want an asterisk around the first woman president of the United States. I want an election and an inauguration.
Right, but this country is really really sexist.
Are you mansplaining sexism?
But it's Democrats, because Republicans.
Yeah.
It's not Republicans' job to vote for Democrats. It's Democrats' job to vote for Democrats. And if
both parties are super misogynist.
they are. But this would be an instance where, with Hillary and with Kamala, where if they don't win, it's not going to be because there's more Republicans. It's going to be because Democrats did something different.
Yeah. Right.
It's gross. I can't disagree more.
No, that is, I mean,
We didn't get the vote that much long ago, and it's just anyway. And I was like, again, I'll just say I was the first woman elected in 2011, and then it was 2023 before there was another Senate Majority Leader, a female Senate Majority Leader. So 11, 12 years later, we finally got the second only, and that was last year, by the way, 2023, just last year, the second.
yep. Now we have the third.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah.
It's kind of a rough spot for.
But I think we're about to lose our TV in the studio.
okay.
No problem.
All right.
But there are all kinds of things, election-wise going on. In Oregon and Washington, we have ballot boxes being burned. In Edina, Minnesota, we have ballots just
Right
being
next, that's where I voted
just
yesterday.
being left in the back of an open car.
was so
The Minnesota Supreme Court today ruled in favor of state Republicans, saying that Hennepin County, the largest county in Minnesota, didn't pick Republican election judges the proper way. So with so much, with so many eyes that are going to be on these things, and so many people who are going to, one way or the other, say that the books were cooked on this, you would just kind of hope. Now, the burning of boxes is obviously a different category, but for people who are not taking the protection of election judges and ballots and whatnot seriously, it's pretty ridiculous and pretty upsetting that we're accusing everybody of being undemocratic, or of not believing in democracy, or saying that elections aren't safe and fair and all of that, and then we're just kind of letting shit go sideways because we're letting non-political couriers just treat it like it's your dog bed from Amazon.
But yes, but I think reverse sort of I think it is the tensions in the culture that are making issues like that situation with the Edina boxes. Yes, they shouldn't have been left unattended for 10 minutes. And also there are protocols before and after that would have caught anything that had happened, because they knew exactly how many boxes, what ballots,
Right,
they're numbered, and that.
boxes,
And so and each step of the way there's a what do they call that chain? Not a chain of command.
Chain of custody.
Chain of custody. So if something had happened, that something had been taken, whatever, there would have been a flag inside. So yes, it shouldn't have happened, and the courier was fired and all that. But also the big hullabaloo over it was a little much. It was because things are heightened, and so and specifically it's people wanting to make noise and to foment distrust in the elections. That's why we're talking about it.
But also, and I get the chain of custody, and I agree with it. People can know that they were not touched, but had they been, rolling back those votes would have been difficult. And I voted early yesterday in Edina, and I'd have been really pretty ticked off if something happened to my ballot because somebody left.
You can track your
hatchback
ballot.
open.
You can literally
And
track
I get
your
it, and
ballot.
I'd have to
So
go
you-
back in and
no,
vote.
yeah,
and
but
absolutely.
just like you can track your ballot,
Right.
they could track your ballot. So they would have been able to contact you and say, Amy Koch,
Your ballot got lost.
Your ballot got lost, and
So we
they're
need you to
where's
vote
it?
again.
Yeah.
What if
And
I'm
that-
out
and
of
that
the
would-
country? What if I'm
and that
like-
would have sucked, and that also didn't happen.
Right. And I understand that. But if it would have sucked, and it
Yeah.
has to be taken with the absolute utmost seriousness.
No, yes,
Yes.
and we have an election system that accounts for these things, and it worked.
Thank you. Okay, as long as no one stole it. Right. Then nobody had to
Yeah,
go
because
back in and vote.
not as long as no one stole it. Literally, no one stole it.
Well,
Right.
we have about 55 different plugs to do.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
So
What are you plugging? Oh wait,
I have stuff to plug. Shut up. You want to talk Patreon?
yeah, we'll do that first.
Okay, for plugs, so Amy and I every Tuesday are obviously on the BS show, and because we didn't have a show last week, there's a couple of things I just wanted to highlight. That Gabe Noah, our lovely producer, Trish Cook, and I had a comedy show at the Rusty Bumblebee in Blaine. It was a full house. Amy and Javier showed up, which was very much appreciated, and that was on 10/18, and that was a ton of fun. We love that. We talked about the 2024 Upper Midwest Emmy Awards, which I was at, looking good. And then I am going to be on Almanac the week of the election, so I'll be on Friday, November 8th, which we all know what we're talking about. And you guys are on, both of you are on this week, right? Almanac?
Good.
Yes.
You got mouth tonight, so.
Yeah, no, but Amy and I we're on Almanac this Friday. Who's the other Republican?
Boo and Austin Altenberg.
Who's that?
Austin's pretty new. He's been on like 2 or 3 times.
I don't know.
I think you've been on with him, maybe. Tall guy, young guy.
I've been on with them
I
once.
thought the 2 of you were on with Austin.
Really?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't think so. I don't remember. Is he a
Austin.
white guy?
White
Just
guy.
kidding.
Yeah, his career mostly is Western Wisconsin.
Yep.
But yeah.
So I am hosting the Moth tonight at the Parkway Theater. The theme tonight is I think what is it? It's weird, strange encounters. Strange encounters. Yeah. That's why I'm wearing my fancy jacket. And I'm also hosting November 20th at the Parkway, so just next month. And the theme there is outgrown. Those tickets go on sale the week before, and they always sell out very quickly. So if you guys want to go, you should
I know. I should let you know.
Yeah, you should come tell a story sometime.
I would love to. I just have to know about it. I mean, I have to get my.
So here's the thing. I think your genre. I think you might be better at storytelling.
Could be.
That I'm not saying you're bad at stand-up,
No.
other than when I joke
I know
about
I'm okay.
No, but I think you'd be a good storyteller, and I think you should work on some stories. That's mine. So you heard it here. If you want to go see Brian, come to the Moth on November 20th. And I want to take the opportunity to thank our newest member of our Patreon.
We have one.
Ryan Rutzik.
Oh, I know Ryan Rutzik.
Yeah.
He's a former Republican candidate.
Yes.
Really?
That's
And a
right.
really good one.
Well, thanks for joining our Patreon, patreon.com/wrongaboutEverything podcast. This is where people who are listeners to our show and appreciate the content help us put it on, help us to pay for production costs and such. Patreon.com/wrongaboutEverything podcast. You could do small amounts, large amounts, whatever you feel comfortable doing, and that only counts if you have the ability to do this. If you do not have the ability to do this, you can ignore what I'm about to say, because if you do have the ability to do this and you enjoy our show and listen all the time, and I know we have lots of people who listen all the time because I can see your damn downloads, and I think some of those people can afford to throw a few bucks our way. And so if you're listening and enjoying it and you can afford it, but you're not doing it, you're kind of being a dick. So,
But not Ryan Rutzik.
Not Ryan Rutzik.
Not a dick.
No, he's
not a
not
dick.
a dick.
Yeah.
He's not a dick. Thank you. And so at your comedy show, Jenny's coworker who was there,
Are not only my number one comedy fan, but the number one fan of this podcast.
Yes, that's
Corey.
adorable.
and number one fan of Javier within
She
the
likes you,
podcast.
yeah.
And she made a point, and this has happened to me like 3 or 4 times recently, where someone's like, "I'm not a dick." And it's like, thank you all. I appreciate it when you recognize us in public, and I especially appreciate it when you say you're not a dick. So, Wrong About Everything. Patreon.com/wrongaboutEverything podcast.
Well,
to
and
join.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but also, and I won't say this person's name, but also we got contacted on our website or through Facebook. Somebody had a question for you, and I recognized it was the husband of someone I work with, and so I always love kind of seeing who listens to us, because some people, I've had friends of mine who have other people have said, well, so and so is listening, and they got embarrassed because they don't want to let us know that they're listening to our stuff. But it's always I really like
we got to pay some digital firm to match exactly.
Who it
I
is,
was just
and
talking
they
about
call them
like
out so they never
so we
listen
can
again?
send them ads that say "Don't be a dick."
Oh, there you go. There you go.
See, that's what we're gonna do with the money. The people who do send us.
What are you listening to, everybody?
If only we had $1 billion.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amy, you have a million things going on.
I do. Let's see. So thank you to the Minneapolis Chamber. The Executive Women's Lunch today had had a panel and we did a pre-election. Lots of the ladies there were really excited and would probably be tuning into the podcast. One woman said, she's like, I'd never listened to a podcast. I got to tune in. So for all the ladies that'll be tuning in and listening, thank you very much. I had a great time at lunch and a wonderful discussion. Mwah, mwah, kisses, kisses. Tonight, Almanac is doing trivia night, their celebration at La Doña Cerveceria. Cerveceria.
Why did you look at me for the pronunciation?
You have the ally, Emmy. So
I do. I do.
You're right. I did, and I don't know.
That is the funniest
That
thing
was a
happened on
total.
today's
You know
show.
what is happening? I'm just.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Let me
it starts at
consult Babbel for
6:30.
you.
So if you're listening live, you can head right over there right now in Minneapolis on Van Wyck Memorial Boulevard and check that out. It's going to be a super fun night.
I love that.
That's where we had
Cerveceria.
your
It is
SEIU
great.
retirement party.
Yes,
My
yes,
retirement
yes.
party was
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Let's see, on Friday, Javier already said we're going to be on Almanac, so tune on in. On Sunday, I will be doing London Times Radio, 6:20. If you're living in the UK, and much earlier if you're here. That's on Sunday. On Monday morning.
The UK, you mean that floating
Yep,
island
garbage.
of garbage?
Yep, that one.
See,
on
you laughed.
Monday morning at 8:20.
See?
It is funny.
Yeah.
Monday morning, 8:20, WCCO Radio with Vanita Sakar. Please tune in. And then Tuesday night from 6 p.m. To whenever this thing is done, which maybe be 3 days later, I will be live on CBS News Minnesota all night. We're going to be cutting to us in the live feed. We're going to be streaming on Odyssey. We're going to have all the election results as they come in. And so I would love it if you'd choose Channel 4 for your election night fun.
So before we get to Spanks and things, there was one year that the city of Eagan hired me to do Eagan election results for Dakota County.
That's a fun job.
On Eagan cable
Public
access. The only problem was the Dakota County numbers didn't come in until after our show was over.
Oh, that was...
So we didn't have one single vote.
Dakota County is always late.
Always.
Why are they
What's going on
always
there?
late?
So we had.
Isn't that your county?
It is my county. This
Have
is
you
a
taken
number.
care of
This
it
is a
yet?
number. This is a number of
No,
years
it's
ago.
still
Who's
a
the
pro- it's been a
commissioners we
problem
need to
recently.
call?
Yeah.
It has always been a problem.
It's still
for-
a problem.
But we had to.
They use their fingers to count there?
We had to do filler time the whole show.
They're like,
It was brutal.
1,
Yeah.
2.
Well, and to that, I during my my election lawyering days, I did a recount where it was a hand recount, and the Republican candidate's name was Ray Cox.
Yeah, I remember Ray Cox.
So you're like one for Cox,
8,000
That was down in Northfield.
Northfield. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
baby.
That was something.
14 for Cox.
Yep.
Yeah. Fun.
Cox,
All right.
Cox,
that was so much.
Cox.
That was so much.
Anyway,
A lot of plugs.
Spanks and things. Who wants to go first?
I'll
Let's
start
try to
us
make them
off.
a little short, though.
Yeah, I'll start us off. So one, there seemed to be something going on in the chat, and I just want to thank all the people who were
Yeah, you really did
standing
get a
up
lot
for
of
me.
love.
Susan, I think someone who we didn't see was trashing me, and then lots of people were jumping on it. So I just want to thank all the people in the chat who came to my defense. Thank you. I don't know what it was about, but I guess I'll read it later. My spank today. We talked a little bit about the comments that Joe Biden made last night, and my spank is for local reporter, KSTP reporter Tom Hauser, who tweeted this morning because Tom Walz, his tweet said, Vice President candidate Tom Walz responded to a question on ABC about President Biden seeming to refer to Trump supporters as garbage. Walz falsely claimed Trump, quote, called this a garbage country. It was a comedian at a rally in New York who, like in Puerto Rico, is a, quote, floating island of garbage. As I and other people pointed out to him, Donald Trump has called the United States a garbage can for the world. He said that repeatedly. He uses that phrase all the time. He has called the country garbage, and then Tom, I think, who just tweeted hastily, like dug in and said, "Oh, it's a world of difference." It's not a world of damn difference. I'm sorry. And and here's the thing: Tom Hauser often gets accused of being a Republican hack, and just like my spank is to you, Tom, and just say if you don't want to be called a Republican hack, don't be one.
Although he gets called other things by
Yeah,
Republicans too. I just want to point out he fights with them too.
Like the record
He
reflects.
does.
Like he fights with Royce.
Tom Hauser's my
No,
buddy.
He's gone after other people that I was surprised. So
He's doing his job if everyone's mad at him.
yeah.
No, and sometimes you're just shitty at your job if everyone's mad at you.
All right. Would you have a thank?
I did my thing.
Oh,
It was
that
the
was
people.
that
the
was
people
the
in
thing.
the
That's
people
right.
in the
All right.
chat.
Okay, so my thank because I think that there's tremendous pressure. We talked about what happened in Edina. I early voted yesterday. I want to send a thank you to all the people that are being election judges. It is a hard job. Even yesterday in Edina, early voting at 2:00, it was a half-hour wait, and the line doubled behind me. There was so much work to be done, and the ladies and men that were making sure that people got their ballots and got checked in, and we're working really hard. So if you are an election judge out there, I want you to know that you are thanked. And then my spank is for one of my favorite perennial spanks that people know is the HOAs. I have a special place in my soul that hates the HOAs. I find them homeowners associations. They're the worst, and this happened in Wright County in Otsego.
I was going to say, are you complaining about your Edina Homeowners Association? Because that's a little too much.
No. This is an Otsego Homeowners Association where they charged all their residents $18,000 for roof repair. Then the residents found out that the roof repair company that was paid so exorbitantly because their insurances covered about $10,000 for that roof repair was a subsidiary of the homeowners, the developer. So when they questioned this, they were charged lawyers' fees for the lawyer answering their questions. They stuck on thousands of dollars in attorney's fees for having to answer the people's very legitimate questions. And here's the deal with HOAs and legislators. I don't give a frick which side of the aisle you are on. If you don't do something about this, it's gross. So guess what happens? You must pay those fees, or the HOAs have the right to foreclose on your home.
That's nuts.
They do not own a bank. They get to charge whatever they want for fees and fines. And if they are not paid, instead of collecting them like normal people, they have the ability to foreclose on your home. And it is wrong, and it is gross, and HOAs need to either be demolished or extremely reformed, and this is gross. And there was a foreclosure because of this roof situation.
What?
One of the homes got foreclosed on. The others had to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a roof repair that, by the way, they handed to themselves, and it's disgusting. And if this doesn't get taken care of, I mean, listen, if there's people out there that want to have a bill, I will lobby for free on this. I hate HOAs.
Hey, settle down on the free part. The for free part.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway,
That's how we end up working on dog bills.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, no. And also,
it drives me
so
insane.
I imagine where would the Realtors Association be on this? Probably on
I
the
don't
other
know,
side.
but they should. I don't know, but everyone should be against this.
Yeah.
HOAs have way too much power, and they can charge whatever they want. And if you do not pay, and they charge interest,
ideological. It's just just stupid stuff like you can't put up signs. Which is a free speech issue. You can't do this or that or
right. You're right. There was that old gentleman, remember, and he wasn't allowed to put he'd put up a bench, and they were like yelling at him, charging him for having a bench because he'd like to sit by the street and talk to his neighbors, and the HOAs they went after him and told me to take it down, and they fined him, and it's just they're disgusting.
They're gross.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna do.
I like this as a wrong about everything agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, could we?
Yeah.
We do need a legislative
we haven't had
agenda.
a legislative agenda in a while. After we passed Sunday sales,
All right. Well,
we've been
vote
resting on our
HOA.
laurels.
Not we.
No, after Amy and I passed Sunday
Yeah.
sales with no input for Brian McDaniel.
Nope, wasn't involved.
Excuse me.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to do 3 quick spanks.
Okay.
My first spank is going to be to Amy Koch for using my Emmy as a stand for her phone.
Settle down.
You think you're mad about Puerto Rico? That's how mad I am that she's messing with my.
I like
Emmy.
the angle and the lighting.
Oh yeah, okay, good for you. Okay, well, my spanks were more relevant last week, but I still want to bring them up. I have become a big WNBA fan, and yes, that has largely been because of Caitlin Clark, but I think that it has really shown just what a good league it is. To a point, our Minnesota Lynx were in the championship game against the New York Liberty, and in the final game,
Yeah, this was-
there was a complete complete bullshit call against the Lynx, which led to them losing. One where Lynx coach Cheryl Reeves said, "I don't care if I get fined. That was not a foul." People like LeBron James and other people have all come out just really, really, really ripping the league. They don't have a replay system, and the commissioner of the damn league was wearing a New York skyline dress.
What?
Yes. The commissioner of the league.
And the WNBA, then they tweeted it and deleted it.
Yeah.
They put, after the New York Liberty won, they said the championship is back where it belongs.
Not
Yes!
the New York Liberty
Yeah.
team, the
The
WNBA official Twitter.
So here's the thing.
The fix is in, baby.
Yeah, if the WNBA is going to keep all of the new fans that it has now,
Right.
it cannot be
Clean up your act.
this blatantly a sham BS league. You have good players playing good basketball. It's fun to watch. Don't focus on your petty differences with each other, and get some real refs and a real commissioner and stick it up
replay.
your Yahoo.
Wow, you got my heart racing over sports.
Yeah, sports
And
ball.
HOAs.
And HOAs.
And HOAs, wow.
I guess we have 2 legislative agenda items.
And my
it's going to be a WNBA.
My last spank is just there was a TikToker who went to a restaurant and started tearing down all of the
Lord.
Israeli flags that were up, and wanted to lecture the people about the genocide that they felt was going on in Palestine. The only problem was they were Greek flags, and they finished up and said, "My bad." So if you're gonna be a know-it-all, try knowing something first.
There you go.
And with that,
Gosh, we're really saucy today.
yeah, I am the least stabby member of this group, Brian McDaniel.
I am former Republican Senate Majority Leader Amy Koch.
I am hijo de Borinquen, Javier Murillo.
And we are
Wrong about everything.
them having Emmys.
Oh, look at you.
Who the hell's
It's too bad. It looks so close. Dick Van Dyke.